Hi, it's Caroline Leavitt, the co-founder of Mighty Blaze, and today is like, we call it our oh wow interview because we have E. Jean Carroll here. This is her book. It debuted at #2. I have to tell you, this is the wildest, funniest, most amazing book you will ever read. If you've never been in a jury, if you've never been in a courtroom, you need this book. Usually I do a Mighty Blaze spiel, but I want to make sure that I'm getting it all E. Jean all the time. So let me just say a few things. You all know the story, but I will tell you just in case you've been under a rock and you don't know the story, very briefly. June 2019. E. Jean alleged to New York Magazine that Trump raped her in the department dressing room in spring 1996. Two friends of E. Jean had said that she had confided about that. CARROLL, in November 2019, E. Jean filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump. Trump, of course, said, no, that never happened, denied ever meeting her, even though he identified a photo of her as his wife. Okay, so in November 2022, E. Jean filed a suit against Trump for battery under the Adult Survivors Act. In July 2023, Judge Kaplan stated that the jury had found that Trump had raped her. A September 2023 partial summary judgment found Trump liable for defaming Carroll. On January 26, 2024, Trump was ordered to pay Carroll an additional $88.3 million in damages, and as E. Jean told me, with interest, it's going to be even more, which is even better. Most recently, Trump has suggested that he is going to appeal it with the Supreme Court, who most likely will not take the case. So here's the amazing book. Go to your store, buy a copy for your friends. E. Jean, I'm so thrilled to have you here. You were a heroine. I love you. I love your flight jackets. I love everything about you, especially that you fought Trump and won.
Thank you. Wow, what an introduction. You got 5 years into like 37 seconds. Caroline.
Yeah.
That was brilliantly done, madam. And may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Tell me about your earrings.
Oh, aren't these cool?
Oh,
these are glittery. eBay, $10. I dressed up for you. I will say that.
They're fantastic. They're fantastic.
Thank you.
Well done.
So I always ask writers when I'm here about the inception of their book. The amazing thing about this book, by the way, if you go to bookshop.org, you can order this right now and it'll be at your door tomorrow. I always ask writers about the inception of their book. This book came out of nowhere. I remember I hang out at E. Jean's Substack, and we're going to put that link to it in the chat, so you can hang out there too. And all of a sudden, I'm on the Substack talking about usual stuff with E. Jean and the whole gang, and I see the book, and the book is out. And it was like, how did you do this in secret without anybody knowing? And tell us when the moment was when you said, I have to write this book. I'm going to write this book.
Well, it was like being in the middle of a high comedy. I'm surrounded with characters straight out of John Grisham. And every night at the finish of trial, I would go back to my hotel room and I would pick up my phone and I would turn it out and I would videotape what went on that day, detail after detail after detail after detail. So when the trial was over, I had a great story. And I am an old journalist. There was no way I could keep it to myself. But I tell you, Caroline, I was dawdling around. I wasn't really writing. And then Donald Trump started to rewrite history.
That's right.
And I said, oh, no, if he's going to rewrite history, I'm going to put it on the record. And that's when I sat down, and 6 months later, using court transcripts. This is why the book is so funny. Because court transcripts are so absurd and bizarre. Caroline, could you hold that book up just one more time?
That's what I do.
I wish I had some of your books here because I'd be holding them up just to combat you holding them up.
I want a T-shirt of this book.
So I started writing, and St. Martin's, my great editor there, Elizabeth Dissingard, executive editor, decided with Dory Weinstein, the vice president of publicity, that we had to keep it totally silent.
Very smart.
Not a word. I could not get in to the building in St. Martin's to get a book. They were locked in. I wanted to get a rope and climb up the side of the building and break a window to get in. You could not get a copy until the book dropped. Boom. And people were caught unawares. And it was delicious.
It was incredible. It was delicious. It went to number 2 almost immediately.
I know. Thank you.
It was just, we were all so, I mean, people were literally screaming and cheering. So one of the outstanding pleasures of this book is your reportage of what goes on in a jury. I'm going to let you talk about it, but one of the things I want you to talk about is you had a trial jury to see what they thought of your hair, your clothes, the way you speak. They wanted to know if you were hot enough, which of course everybody knows you are in spades, if you were too smart. Tell us about that, because I was reading that with my jaw was literally open because I couldn't believe it.
The mock trials are held before big trials, like they were held before the OJ trial, to find out what people are thinking. And we had 27 typical New Yorkers in a big ballroom, and we presented the entire case. Lawyers need to know if their arguments are persuasive. That's what they're testing. So They presented the entire case. Here's what happened. All the men and all the women agreed on 3 things. Number 1, yes, 2 people could end up in a dressing room in Bergdorf Goodman's in 1996. 2 people could end up in a dressing room in Bergdorf Goodman in 1996 having a sexual event. And the 2 people in the Bergdorf dressing room in 1996 were Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll. What they disagreed on was they thought I was begging him for it. Why? Because I'm an old, desiccated, ugly crone, and he would not have not attacked me. He would not have attacked me. I was just I'm 80 fucking 1. So they couldn't compute. That was one problem. The other problem was, guess what the women didn't like? The women didn't like the fact that when being questioned, I could not admit that I was harmed. I would say, if they say, "How are you, Regina?" I would say, "I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous," because that's how I see life. So the women did not want to hear that. The women, probably every single woman there had some experience, or her daughter had, or her mother had, or she knew somebody had, and they were not putting up with that. They could see that couldn't have been true, that I was not fabulous, and I better fucking admit it, or they're not going to. So when it was over, the attorney, Robbie Kaplan, one of the great attorneys of heroin, she comes back and she says, "We were idiots. We were in a liberal bubble. We didn't even see that the country was divided between men and women. We didn't see it." So they changed the argument from beginning to end, and they for the next 6-7 months it was drummed into me like I have to answer honestly how I was harmed. That was very difficult for me to admit anything. So and then we changed my look. I couldn't look like an 81-year-old. I had to go look. I had a television talk show in 1996, and we cut my hair just like it was. We did my makeup just like it was, and I wore clothes This jacket actually is from 1996. So that's what we did. And so the jury was reminded of somebody who could have looked like I looked in 1996. So that's what we did.
That's incredible. Another thing I wanted to that totally made me feel gobsmacked was people were upset that you had humor in the book, that you were laughing at. But I have to tell you, anybody who reads this book, you will laugh because it is so absurd. But also that, that you laughed at Trump initially, but any woman knows that that's what we have to do to protect ourselves against men.
Exactly.
Jenna Blum, my co-founder, was mentioning beforehand that there's a Maya Angelou quote that women are afraid that men are going to hurt them. Men are afraid that women are going to laugh at them.
Yes.
So that is what we do. I mean, when you heard that, how did you get around that? How did you deal with that people felt, well, you shouldn't have laughed about this, therefore you're guilty?
Well, that it just means they hadn't read the book because it was a tragic event. But the events swirling around the event were hilarious. I mean, just look at Alina Habba Esquire. I mean, I rest my case. You live in New Jersey. You've just lost your acting attorney general because Alina Habba Esquire, the deliciously confident and arrogant and beautiful Alina Habba Esquire, is now out of a job. So it's funny. It was funny how it is to defend a woman against a horrible sexual assault. But that's that, Caroline, if women didn't laugh about this, we could not have carried on for the last 6,000 years. Caroline, I believe you've had experiences with men that were not exactly the most wonderful thing in the world.
No, they were not. They were not. And the thing that's so interesting about humor is that Trump does not like it. We were talking in the green room beforehand that South Park just ran, they did it in secret too, sort of just like your book, where they just released an episode of Trump and Satan. And Satan is laughing at Trump at the size of his genitals and his stupidity. And he hates it. And it is the way to get to him. And I can see your dog agrees.
Well, let me go let the dogs out.
No, the dog can stay. The dog can stay. It's fine.
The other dog will bark the entire time. Can I stand up and go let him out? Because we will never get done. Hang on. Let me go let the dog out. All right, ladies.
So I wanted to, while we're waiting for Eugene to put the dogs out, I do want to say, if you have a chance, you really want to watch this South Park episode because it is hilarious. And humor is a really powerful weapon, especially for
Caroline,
women.
I'm very excited that you're talking.
Okay.
They loved it. They all say hello to Auntie Caroline. Okay?
So happy to be their aunt. So tell us about, I was also totally amazed that they gave you a psychiatric evaluation and they wanted to know how many men you had slept with. Did they do the same thing to Trump? Do you know? Did he have a psychiatric evaluation? Did they ask him how many women he had slept with, reportedly, forcibly or not?
Wow. That is no, they did not. Caroline, that is a very deep and sparkling question. That reveals more about how women are treated in this country than anything you have said so far or could say all week. That right there is the center of our problem.
I think so too.
Powerful men are believed and women are not believed.
Yeah, it's. I wanted to say another thing. I've read the depositions from women who said in their depositions that they were attacked by Trump, that they told him to stop. They were 13, 14 years old. Why are women not believed? Why? And I just don't get it. They're not believed. But I sort of feel now that maybe things are changing a little bit thanks to you and your book. And you
I
don't
don't
think
think,
so?
no, a powerful man. Remember, Donald Trump is the most powerful person on the planet. No one has more power than Donald Trump. So that even some people, believe me, was an achievement. Women will not be believed. They just will not be believed until we have equal power. And that's coming, but it's going to be in a while.
It's going to be a long, long while. I wanted to know, we're taught that courtrooms dole out justice. You had this brilliant legal team,
Oh,
which is another reason to read this, to see how justice works in a courtroom.
yeah.
I actually read this book twice because the first reading I thought, no, that can't be. But if you had not had such a brilliant legal team or Judge Kaplan, this could have gone another way, couldn't it have?
Well,
Or could it have?
Judge Kaplan is the most conservative judge. No nonsense. Steel rod should be on the Sistine Chapel as God. Terrifies everybody. Terrifies everybody. Also, he was the only one in the courtroom who could explain to Joe Tacopina, the famous criminal defense lawyer who was defending Trump, who Jonathan Swift was, because Tacopina hadn't heard of Jonathan Swift. So Judge Kaplan was conservative, but my attorneys were breathtakingly good.
They were so smart.
Yeah,
so smart.
So smart. Trump had the most famous criminal defense lawyer in the country. He had Joe Tacopina. You don't get better than Joe Tacopina. He just got ASAP Rocky off. He got that guy who bludgeoned Natalie Holloway in the Bahamas, got him out of jail for 15 years, got that the Sopranos actor who killed the person, got him off, got Michael Jackson acquitted. Joe Tacopina is an ace criminal defense. The problem was Joe Tacopina's client had done it.
Yeah.
And that was Joe Tacopina's problem. But Joe Tacopina did the best job he could, but Trump was guilty.
How could you stand? I mean, Trump was not in the courtroom for the first trial, but he was for the second. What did that feel like, to have to be in the same space as him?
Well, the first day I was rattled, but I know myself that if I take the first step, that means either I stand up or it means I do something. What I did was I turned all the way around and I lanced him with my eyes.
I love that part.
Just lanced him in the face. And he jerked. His attention was taken. I looked into his eyes. He looked into my eyes. I said the thing that I've always wanted to say to him. He got it. He got it good. And I turned back around. And from that moment on, he never met my eyes again. Even when I sat in front of him and testified all day and told the truth to his fucking face, what happened? He never met my eyes again.
That's power. That's power. Did you notice expressions on the jury? Were you told to look at the jury or not look at them, or?
Mike Ferrara, the great Mike Ferrara, the Duke of Ferrara, told me, if I feel like looking at the jury, look at the jury. Yeah, okay. I just had to be completely natural. The jury was mesmerized by Donald Trump because he misbehaves the whole time. He was constantly belittling Alina Habba Esquire. He was snorting and whimpering and spitting and grumping and complaining. So the jury was absolutely mesmerized by him. He misbehaved the whole time. And he is, as we just said, the most powerful man on earth. So it was interesting. It was interesting to see how riveting he is.
One of my friends in Santa Fe, whose name is Joe Fisher, and I bet she's watching, wanted me to ask you. We both totally adored your Ask E. Jean column at Elle magazine and read it forever. It was the best. And, supposedly Elle magazine fired you because of economic reasons, blah, blah, blah. But it really seems as though they did that because all the allegations against Trump had come out. Did you ever think of suing them?
Well, Elle magazine turns out to be the first media company to bow the knee to Trump.
Okay.
Then CBS followed, then ABC followed. Here's the thing. If a woman comes forward against a powerful man, she will lose her job. Right. She will lose her job. And if she has children, I don't know how she's going to feed her children. She will be dragged through the mud, and she will lose her reputation. And she will be threatened by the man she comes forward. He will threaten to bring a lawsuit against her. He will threaten her. So his followers will threaten her. It is not an easy thing to do, but I was willing to pay the price. I knew there was going to be a price, and I paid it because people had to know.
They have to know. And that's why it's kind of, I called you E. Jean of Arc on your Substack. And one of the community members said, no, she's too chic to burn at the stake. But it's the same.
That's great.
It's so funny. But it's the same sort of thing, like this kind of bravery and heroism where most women, if we're attacked or raped, we don't want to go to the police. We don't want to go to court because it's always centered on it doesn't work out well for us. No. And yet you have been this incredible heroine. So I want to know what's next for you. What delicious thing are you going to do next?
Well, I'm just about ready to announce it on my Substack.
I know. I was hoping you would announce it here, but that's all right. I will tell everybody.
Yeah.
When it happens. And what are you going to spend the money on?
Well, I'm going to give it to everything he hates.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, what do you think, Caroline? What do you suggest?
I think you absolutely should do that. I think you should give it to Planned Parenthood places, abortion places, climate change, every science, women.
Yes.
Everything.
Well, women have been set back 50 years.
Yes, they have.
It's horrible. It's it's not going to be enough money to help women get back any of their rights, but at least it can help doing something. And it's still going to be a long way until that money is had. But so I'm living in my hovel, and I don't need the money. So fine.
So it's an amazing what you did. Will you write another book, please?
I can't imagine. I'm not like you. You've written 14 books or 15?
No, 13. 13.
15? How
13. No, 13. It's insanity. It's from my mental health.
Wait a minute. How, let me ask you some questions, Caroline. How many hours a day do you spend writing?
No more than 4.
And morning or night?
Morning, usually after my coffee. But nobody wants to hear about me. They want to hear about you. So I have to ask you.
I wanted to hear about you.
Well, that's all right. We can talk later. I want to know, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? Oh, you do. Good.
Well, you saw the size of my dogs.
Right.
And this whole place is wired. It's got cameras everywhere, and the police come immediately. And just the 2 dogs alone. The pit bull weighs 84 pounds, and that dog you saw behind me weighs more than I do. And it's seriously 3 days. Somebody drove up in my driveway to deliver something. He got out of the truck, started to walk across the bridge. I opened the front door. The dog came. He turned, Caroline, and ran to his truck, jumped in, and slammed the door. And I picture him rolling up his window. That's what it's like to see these huge dogs coming at you.
Good.
All so
Good.
they're good. They're good.
But you also learned to shoot. Is that correct? Does that make you feel? Does that make you feel like just in case?
Yeah. I don't really have to be a good aim because it's a shotgun, so it's got a line.
Still.
I just aim it in a general direction and pull the trigger. That's what that'll do for me. So yeah, so that helps.
So what would we be surprised to learn about you that you might want to tell us? Like, do you have any surprising hobbies, or do you like to read the Weekly World News? Or we actually have a question coming up. I see.
Well, I think you'd find it surprising that I would like to have the. Where did you get those earrings? Because that would be what.
I'm gonna find another pair and I'll send them to you.
They're fantastic.
They're very light. And
I would hope so. Yeah, because I mean, if there had any weight for them, they're the size of a trout. You understand that? It's like, yeah, I love that. So.
Okay, I see, Mark. I see. There's like one last. How do you maintain such a great attitude in the midst of so much awfulness? Asking for a friend, Trisha. She's also a Mighty Blazer.
Well,
how
Trisha,
do you?
I don't. I think of life as being a human comedy. I see the world as a comedy. I don't see it as a tragedy. It's all on how you see things. If I frame it as a comedy, then it's fun. I don't see things as awful. I just don't see them. I see, what can we do? Well, how are we going to fix this? Let's go have fun fixing this. This is, the Trump Epstein thing is absolutely delicious. What
amazing.
could be better? I mean, really. Yeah.
Oh, you have another one from Laura Starr. Thank you, Laura. Do you think that the Epstein situation will make any difference in the long run? The D has survived so many so-called bombshells and scandals. I don't have hope that this will stick. What do you think?
I agree. He will survive it, and he will go on. And it's amazing because there are more photos of Donald Trump with Epstein than anybody else. And here's the thing that we've forgotten in the Trump Epstein thing. We've forgotten Virginia Giuffre, who is right in the middle, who has committed suicide. These were 15, 16-year-old, and they have been lost in all this scandalous. That we have to think of the women. I wrote a story for Vanity Fair about Jill Harth. She was a Trump accuser, and she had, a beauty contest in the early 90s. And her beauty contest was called Calendar Girls, and they were innocent girls from Iowa, Nebraska, and they came to compete. They went to Mar-a-Lago, and Donald Trump took them through Mar-a-Lago, and guess who was with him? His best friend, Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, of course.
They hit these two. That's what they did. They hunted together. And that night, Donald Trump tried to get in bed with one of them. And she said, I don't mess around on the first night. And the next morning, he went back and tried to get back in bed with her. He said, it's the next day. Jill Harth put all of this into her lawsuit, which was subsequently withdrawn. But they misbehaved together. They were on the hunt. Why would you have Jeffrey Epstein come to your house to conduct a tour of Mar-a-Lago, of Donald Trump's own house? So, yeah, they are buddies.
One last question. What can we women do? Oh, another question from, all right. Well, first I want to ask, what can women do? What should we be doing besides mouthing off and making fun of Trump? And what do you suggest we do in taking to the streets?
I'm going to suggest it on Substack in about 20 minutes.
Okay, great. Okay, everybody, we have the Substack on there. You need to go look at it. And plus, you need to join the Substack because it's so much fun and the people are so great. From William, I would like to hear from E. Jean why she and or Attorney Kaplan think her rapist declined to testify.
Well, he testified at the second trial.
Yeah, he did.
But the decline the first time was a mistake. If he had testified, he would have gotten a hung jury and he would have won because our jury was upstate. Our jury was drawn from Trump counties, not Manhattan, Trump County. Trump could have easily persuaded one member of that jury to vote for him. However, in order to do that, he would have had to testify, and Robbie Kaplan would have torn his head off in cross-examination for about 7 hours. But I think he was chicken to face Robbie, and it was a calculation, and it was a bad calculation. I think he could have won because he can convince people that even though he was bankrupted 6 times, he was a business genius. So he could convince one little jury member. So good question, William. Why didn't he testify? Joe Tacopina told him not to, is why.
And one last question from William. Was your team ever approached for settlement after the verdicts? Based on the interest accruing, it is very expensive to appeal.
No, we already told everybody that's been represented, I do not settle.
I love it. You do not settle. That's right. I want to show this gorgeous cover again. Bookshop.org. Run, don't walk. Go to your favorite indie bookstore. This is the kind of book that not only do you want for yourself, you want to buy it for your friends, especially if they're female. It's so, so incredible. I want to thank everybody for being here and for all the great questions. Tell your friends they can watch this on a Mighty Blaze YouTube channel. It's going to be there forever. Tell your friends to go to E. Jean's Substack because she's going to announce something amazing very soon, and I can't wait to see it. I want to bow down before E. Jean. I mean, I have loved you since Ask E. Jean and Elle Magazine. I'm thrilled to be on your Substack. I hope the next time you're in New York, you let me take you for chocolate cake.
Oh, I like vanilla cake, though.
We'll go to vanilla cake. I'll find the best vanilla cake. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And thank you, E. Jean. I know you have to run. And that's it. Bye, everybody. Thank you, E. Jean. Thank you, everybody.